Hello everyone, welcome on board again on ChifraneJournal. Today I want to talk about total unavailability of water in our living comfort. That is zero supply of water or 80% unavailability of water in the houses, apartments where we are staying. It should be a no-no for everyone to accept to live in a house where there is no water supply. Yes, for me, any apartment or structure with zero water supply is what I classify as a beautiful nonsense. It makes no meaning. It is of no need having to live in a house where you pay rent and there is no water supply in such a structure. Yes, it is certain that people in the rural communities or in the villages, they have to walk for about 3 kilometers, 2 miles away from from where they are living in order to get water for their domestic use. That is fine, fantastic for people in the village. Yes, it is obvious no development in the rural area. How about you and I in the cities? Where we live, we pay rent, huge amount of rent. Though it is understandable that this should have been the responsibility of our government to provide the citizen with water. Unfortunately, the government has failed in her role to make these provisions long time ago. The Federal Water Corporation or the State Water Corporation, the local one, all of them are dead long time ago, especially in Nigeria, my country. Yes, I have lived in 2 cities, in the 2 biggest cities in Nigeria. One of them is Onitsha in Anambra State. Onitsha is currently known as the city of skyscraper. Why? Because on coming to Onitsha, you would, especially in that major area, in the hybrid area in Onitsha, standing on the streets, you would definitely be amazed by the structures you would be looking at. There are all these tall buildings, You hardly see bungalows or small buildings. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-story building, 4-story building, You see those, some of them do have a don't tire, the penthouse. It will amaze you that most of these structures do not have water supply. You don't understand me. They fit in all the water facilities, the washing hand basins, the pipelines, the baths, all are duly fitted in these structures, but they do not have water supply. Currently, where a cousin sister of mine is staying is a 4-story building. There is no water supply in that house. 4 good story building. People have to be climbing up, down, and to and fro in order to get water. Where I lived in Onitsha some time ago, that was a 5-story building. We stayed on the 2nd floor. After 2 months, the landlord cut off the pipe supplying water to the flat upstairs. Why? Because he claimed that if we should be coming down to get water, we should be, managing it properly than when he allows water to be flowing into every apartment. Isn't that appalling? And that was how everybody started doing that. Not everybody. The people who played this role or who were responsible for going down to fetch this water were the maids. Not only the maids, the apprentices, the boy, that's what they call them, those serving under their masters, learning trade under their masters in Onitsha. They do this thing morning and night, lifting about 30 liters of water, 25 liters of water from down floor to the 5th floor. When one of the landlords was questioned regarding why he failed to make provisions for water supply in his house, do you know what he said? That cost of building materials is expensive, that after providing all the facilities in the house, that making water available is another cost, that the tenants would be complaining that the house is expensive. In Lagos, I experienced the same thing. Unfortunately, these landlords, after building this house with zero water supply, they would go make a bungalow for themselves and their family, provide everything that is needed for their own comfort, leaving the tenants to suffer, collect money and put in their pockets. How much does it take to build a house? You spent millions and millions of naira to erect a building, and yet you leave it with empty water for the tenants to suffer. What does it take to fit in or to drill a functional borehole in a house? It costs about less than ₦1 million, 700,000 naira, 800,000 naira to fit in this facility, to have a functional borehole in a structure. The rent you collect, or these landlords collect from one tenant alone, especially in Lagos, because I paid 700,000 a year for a 2-bed. My rent alone would be enough to fit in this, to have water running in that compound. Because usually you see them, they have 18 flats, some of them 20-something flats, some of them 16 flats, 12 flats in a plot of land, or a plot of land. Why can't you just do this thing? Do the right thing by saving people some stress. If you could have all the money, while you were erecting this building, there was steady water supply for the builders, for the handymen working in that project, and it got completed. After you completed it, you deny the tenants this vital supply of water in the house. It is terrible. It is terrible. It is high time tenants start saying no to any structure without water supply. I think it will help to curb this, irresponsibilities among the landlords. Yes, it will definitely help, because there are implications to this. That is what we tenants do not understand, especially we that are paying for the rent, because we are not responsible for carrying this heavy gallons from down floor to the upper one, because it is the duty of our house helps, those under us, to do that. We think that it is not that necessary doing it. We think that it does not have any health implication. It does. Some of these young ones do develop backache, neck ache, chest pain, headache, and they cannot come to you to complain, because you wouldn't even make meaning out of their complaints. So they keep this to themselves, suffering, and this would linger at the long run. Why not we start saying no? Now, I'm talking to the young ones intending to build houses. Those of you, or those of us who run around the social media, hear me out. Please consider water as one of the basics, facilities or requirements you have to provide in a house for your tenants. It will not cost you much that you have put in to erect a structure. And I wonder what it has profited landlords to have fitted in facilities, pipeline facilities, that water are not passing through them. And at the long run, this thing would get rusted and damaged. Of what gain is it that you have used your money to fix facilities that are useless, that are not useful to your tenants, that are not useful to the people you put in the house? There are sanitation problems or implications to lack of water in the house. Because when you come into a flat, everywhere will be stinking. Your tenants are not comfortable. Indirectly, you are killing people and you don't know it. Then, in one of these structures as well, in Lagos, we came up with the idea of providing water plants to the house, and when our rent is due, we would contribute money, as in we would deduct the rent from the money we contributed to provide this water plants. Do you know what? It was a no-no for the landlord as well. Do you see how sad, or how, can I use the word wicked, please? Permit me to use that. You want to get everything into your pocket. That is sad. Please, young people wishing to build should have it at the back of their mind that there is every need for you to provide water for people living in your apartment. You can as well add it up in their rent and know how to deduct it. But it is necessary for maintenance sake, for them to maintain your compound, your flat, for neatness sake, for sanitation purpose, to avoid causing health implications for young ones staying with their madams and their masters. Please, let's consider this as a necessity. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. I remain your girl, Chifrane.